Dawn in the desert, a clear and chilly November morning. We are near the city of Buckeye, Arizona, where a caravan of cars is arriving, carrying volunteers. For the next several hours, they will comb this unforgiving landscape, looking for a young man who's been missing since June of 2021. His name, Daniel Robinson. And leading the search, not law enforcement, but Daniel's father, David.
Where is everybody located?
For 9 painful months, Robinson and his team of volunteers, people he now calls family,
This is my family.
have been desperately trying to find any trace of his son.
He's a very bright, intelligent geologist. Anything that Daniel wanted to do, he would do it. He's born without a right hand, but he found ways to master anything that he wanted to do. You know, he's a geologist. Of course, Arizona is the ideal place.
In June 2021, Daniel had just begun a job doing field work at a desert well site. He'd always kept in close touch with his family back home in South Carolina. But around this time, Daniel suddenly stopped calling.
I tried to call his phone constantly. He wasn't answering.
In fact, the whole family tried calling Daniel. Nothing. His sister in Arizona checked his apartment. No one there.
I was worried. I didn't want to panic because I didn't want my children to panic, so that's when I decided to call the Buckeye Police Department.
The Buckeye PD is a small one with barely more than 100 officers. Nevertheless, they began investigating by first checking the area where Daniel was reportedly working. Nothing turned up. 2 days later, David Robinson, desperate for answers, felt he had to take matters into his own hands.
I just grabbed everything I had, threw it in my vehicle, and just started driving. And I made it here. I came straight through. Left South Carolina, came straight to Arizona.
Some 45 hours later, David arrived in this daunting desert, exhausted, but in a panic. His son was out here somewhere, all alone, facing 3-digit heat, rattlesnakes, and not a soul or building in sight. So on his own, David started searching and soon made his way to the well site where his son was last seen.
This is where it all began. This is where the whole narrative started. My son drove off into the desert and vanished, maybe from here.
David then met with a witness, a co-worker of his son's who said he saw Daniel at the well the day he disappeared.
He did tell me that my son seemed like he was looking out into space somewhere, looking out into the desert terrain, kind of staring off, and was acting really quiet. And then he told me my son just kind of waved off to him, got in his vehicle, and drove off.
Where he went and what exactly happened next, no one seems to know. Soon after that meeting, David began recruiting volunteers to help him search the sprawling Sonoran Desert. Every Saturday for the next few weeks, they scoured this barren, treacherous landscape. They have not found Daniel. Then in July 2021, a break, a big one. A local rancher found Daniel's Jeep rolled over in a remote ravine.
When I first saw that crash site, I was really devastated. This place I had to go to and see for myself.
The airbags had deployed. The sunroof looked as if it had been kicked open, perhaps used as an escape route. And this was odd. Outside the Jeep were what appeared to be Daniel's clothes and work boots, his wallet still in his blue jeans. Inside the vehicle was his college ID, laptop, keys, cell phone, and plenty of bottled water. To help make sense of this mystery, David hired private investigator Jeff McGrath, an expert at reconstructing accidents. He has a theory of what might have happened.
There was nothing along this route that the vehicle took into that bottom ravine that matched the damage. It's telling me the vehicle was probably crashed somewhere else. Either moved here or it was continued to be driven, and this was its final stop. And whether somebody stole it in joyriding, whether Daniel was in it, but it tells me something happened somewhere else.
The Jeep has since been moved to a secured location for further analysis, but plenty of evidence still remains of the crash.
I don't believe it was enough to kill, no. The airbags had enough force to do some damage. They strike you in the face, and they come out with a lot of force, and it could cause a concussion. But there wasn't enough violence here in this crash to cause a lethal.
That suggests Daniel survived and was perhaps disoriented and maybe wandered aimlessly into the desert. Could this be other than accidental? Could foul play be involved in Daniel's disappearance? It's something McGrath and David have not ruled out. It's something police have examined too. To this point, there is no evidence of that. None at all. Whatever happened back in June of 2021 has David Robinson now bracing for the worst.
It's hard to say you're searching for your son walking around the desert with no clothing, no shoes. So I had to mentally put it in my head that I'm doing a recovery. So I need to go find every spot I can out here to rescue my son. He may be hurt, injured, somewhere stuck, whatever. I need to find my son. Yeah, I found something up here interesting.
David is hoping to get more attention, help, and resources from the Buckeye PD, which says this is still an ongoing investigation, although so far not a criminal one.
Okay, so we're still working this side.
He's also tried to enlist federal help. In the fall of 2021, the Buckeye PD briefed the FBI and asked for their assistance. The Bureau recently told us they're still assessing the case. So far, they have not gotten involved. So for now, David Robinson and his team of volunteers continue to search.
I really have faith that somehow God can bless that he's alive somewhere, and I hope so. I am not stopping. He's my son. He's my responsibility. He's a fighter. He never give up on anything. I definitely won't give up on him.
Where is Daniel Robinson?
Saturday night, that question on the hearts and minds of Daniel Robinson's family and friends gathered at the state capitol asking for more to be done since the now 25-year-old geologist vanished in the Buckeye Desert.
My son is just not my son. He's also America's son, because this happened to a lot of families.
Since then, his father David organizing search parties hoping to find his son. Volunteers showing up week after week, standing strong with the Robinson family.
Daniel could be any one of us, and so we definitely need to bring awareness to the situation. If we don't speak up for him, and help find him, who will?
Daniel and my son went to the same high school. Felt it was my duty as his neighbor to be here to support him and really try to figure out where Daniel is and bring him home safe.
David's search parties found Daniel's Jeep Renegade, rolled over in a ravine, airbags deployed, his clothing found inside out, boots and socks, wallet and laptop, no blood, no signs of injury, no signs of Daniel.
God knows how much we can bear, and at times I feel like I can't really take but so much more.
But in his weakest times, David says it's the volunteers that provide him strength.
Everybody knows that I call them my extended family. And so this visual is the same thing. We all here have one common goal, and that's to find Daniel and also to bring light what happened to other families.
As the Robinsons' extended family light candles tonight, their collective light shines towards that day when their question is answered and Daniel comes home. Josh Sanders, 12 News.
Yeah, I'm David Robinson, the father of Geologist Daniel Robinson. We're out here to do a candlelight visual on behalf of my son, and also to bring light into other families who are going through similar situations. So thank you. I'm thanking everybody who's out here to support. We need to stand in solidarity to bring attention to this case and to make a statement.
Oh, I'll be your shelter, I'll be your armor. I hear you whisper underneath your breath. I hear your SOS, your SOS. I will send out an army to find you in the middle of the darkest night. It's true, I will rescue you.
Daniel Robinson went missing 4 months ago. This is the last photo his family has of him. He's a 24-year-old geologist, last seen leaving his job site in Buckeye, Arizona.
As the Gabby Petito homicide case garners national attention, another young person has been missing for nearly 3 months, and his family is desperate to find him. 24-year-old Daniel Robinson, a geologist, was last seen on the morning of June 23rd, leaving his work site in the desert of Buckeye, Arizona.
David Robinson had only one thought on his mind as he drove the nearly 1,800 miles from his South Carolina home to Phoenix.
I had to find my son. And I'm still searching for him. Thank you all for coming in for this evening's Q&A, Primetime. My name is David Robinson. I'm the father of geologist Daniel Cornelius Robinson. My son went missing out there in the desert of Buckeye, Arizona on June the 23rd, 2021. He was out there to do his job as a field geologist, also called a hydrogeologist. His job is to check the viability of wells. On that morning, Daniel went to 2 well sites. He went one early that morning, roughly around 7 that morning, and then ended up at the second well site where he eventually went missing. The story that was given to us and to the police department and to myself at the time initially was that my son met the gentleman, the worker at the well site. He was a worker from a company called Weber. And they met out there on Sunvale Parkway near the Cactus Road junction. They talked for a brief moment. My son followed that worker farther into that deeper part of the desert to get to the well site. What they had to do was drive at least about a mile west, then another mile, 2 miles north to get to this well site in that desert. Once they got to the well site there in that desert, they had a brief conversation, roughly around 10 minutes of conversation, where the worker said that my son waved off to him, got in his vehicle, and drove off where he was never ever seen again. Of course, at that point, before my son was actually, before that point, I ended up making a phone call to check on my son. I did get alerted from my daughter. I was in Columbia, South Carolina at the time. She was telling me that one of the workers came by her house, her apartment, and to alert her that they were looking for Daniel. Of course, that had word her. She called me. I'm sure she called her mother, but she did call me and let me know what was going on. I had her to go check Daniel's apartment to make sure he wasn't there. And so we tried to do all our due diligence to make sure that he's okay. After some time of calling him and not getting any answers, I look at the time difference from Arizona to South Carolina, which is a bit 3 hours difference. I was then alerted that it was over 6 hours that nobody have seen Daniel. For Daniel, that is very unusual, very out of character for him. It all caused for me to not panic or have my daughter to panic. I still tried to make sure I was doing some type of due diligence. I went to call the Tempe Police Department because my son is a Tempe resident, and had the police department see if they can do a welfare check to go into his apartment or, go check and everything. They was unable to do so. They didn't have, I guess, reason to do it so because when I explained the story to them, the last place where my son was seen was near the White Tank Mountains, what I was given at the time. And since it was by the White Tank Mountain, they told me that was in the city of Buckeye, and I would have to get in contact with that department. They did give me the phone number to the Buckeye Police Department where I initially called and then tried to put in a missing persons report. It did mention about doing a welfare check. They was unable to do the welfare check. They said they was going to call Tempe and see if they can get them to do it. And but at the same time, they told me they couldn't do a missing person report. You had to wait till a 12-hour waiting time. So I had to wait for a few more hours before I can call back and put in that initial missing persons report. After that 12-hour, of course, on that 12-hour mark, I did call back, put in a missing person report, and that's where everything started. It was initially with this Officer Cruz, who seemed very helpful. He told me that he was going to go down on Sunvale Parkway. He explained to me that's the road that's right there in the area, that he was going to ride up and down that road, that area there, to see if he's stuck on the side of the road. I felt really relieved at that. But of course, doing my due diligence, I was able to get in contact with some people at Daniel's job to find out not only was the road that he was speaking of is the road outside of that desert area, but my son actually went missing in the desert area, the remote part of the desert. And that's the reason why I then decided to ask these officers to go search for my son out there in that desert. He told me they couldn't do it that night because it is nighttime. They didn't have everything they would be able to do to go do that type of searching, but they will do it in the morning. He's going to ask for them to go do a helicopter search, which I was relieved. Of course, I didn't get into sleep. I don't think anybody would get into sleep, not knowing what's really going on. Here I am, thousands of miles away from my son. My daughter, she's trying to do the best she can. Being here in Phoenix, try to be helpful, try to find out information that she can get. And I was trying to get all the information I can get from South Carolina. Of course, I'm sure both of us, we didn't have any sleep. His mother, I'm sure, her and her husband probably didn't get into sleep, I'm sure. And also is his siblings and a lot of my family members at this point, once we started making them aware of what was going on. The next morning, I did talk to the officer who came in. A new officer came in to take his place. And that new officer, I think his last name was Haley, and he was able to take on from that point and told me, hey, yes, we're going to have a helicopter to go out. I was very relieved again, still trying to get all the information I can to make sure my son is indeed missing. About an hour later, he called back and said, hey, Mr. Robinson, they would not be doing this flight. It's unauthorized. My higher ups said it's unauthorized because they say your son is a grown man. And if he wants to disappear, he can, if he wants to disappear on his own, he can. So after hearing that and trying to convince them to go out there and tell them the reasons why, and those reasons why is because my son is not from Arizona. He's out there by himself and he's going out there in that desert. And, it's a remote area desert. I know about the deserts. I don't know about this desert here in Arizona at the time. Of course, the only desert I have been in was in Afghanistan. So I do know the dangers that can come of being stuck out there in the desert. So, of course, when they decided they weren't going to do anything to go search for my son because they felt like he's a grown man, if he wanted to die out there, that's his choice. I decided to hop in my vehicle. I grabbed everything I can without thinking and just drove, not driving. I made it out here to Arizona on June the 26th, where I have been searching for my son since. When I made it to Arizona on June 26th, I did get a call from my auntie in Philly who told me that she talked to someone there, the departments, and they said it's going to finally get that Phoenix air. I think they call it Phoenix Firebird helicopter, some name in the air to go search for my son. I was relieved. But I was here. So I did try to find out information, what they found. I found out they didn't, they said they didn't find anything, of course. But, my investigation started from that point. I did get the chance to talk to the man at the well site and also got to talk to my son's job while I was here when I first got here on the ground. And, first I talked to my son's job, and then they the ones helped me get this meeting with that worker from Weber. He was still working that well, the same well. He's been working ever since Daniel went missing. He's been being there every day with another guy. And he definitely told me he was there. He was there when they supposedly did the Phoenix Airbird helicopter flight and searching the well site. Though he was there the entire time, he did tell me he didn't see any helicopter. He personally didn't see any helicopter while he was there. And he didn't see or hear any helicopter or see any helicopter, and that he didn't see any police officers there. But the Buckeye Police Department did say they were out there somehow. So he didn't see that, but at the same time, he did share his story with him, because the reason why I was securing that meeting with this guy is because I needed to look in his eyes. Any father would do that, any mother would do it. I'm sure someone telling you something that's totally different from your child, telling you that they decided just to drive off and wave at you and act strange or whatever you want to say, and then they drove off and farther into the desert, not going back the other way to go home. To me, that was out of character, just thinking about on the way here to Arizona. No, Daniel, if he didn't want it, he wouldn't just drove off. Matter of fact, if he didn't want to be at the work at that moment, he wouldn't have came. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't see my son not only making the two well sites, but he wouldn't have came to the first one in the first place. So, that just didn't make sense to me, his character. But at the same time, I understand my son is very responsible, and he do love his job. He do his job. He do what he's supposed to do. and I couldn't see that either. So I look at different kind of scenarios where I know my son would just wave off and just drive farther into the desert. I could see him driving off probably, and if that was the case, and then go back to the main road. He's not that, my son would have found his way back to the right direction. A matter of fact, I will get down deeper into that story, which I will do another walkthrough for you guys to understand the reason why. Now that I know a lot more since I've been here, where it don't make sense with the story. But I can tell you, just hearing the man, I definitely had to look at his face and him to tell me as a father, yes, your son just drove off and just waved and drove off and went farther into that desert. In the story, he did tell me exactly, almost verbatim, to what the officers told me that he said to them. However, at the extensive conversation about the Phoenix Airbird and some other little conversation, he started changing the story. He went on the story on his own. Not that I did ask him over again. He started repeating the story, but he started adding a little more details about staying left of the tracks, for instance, so he wouldn't disturb them. That, when he got to G. Johnson, stayed left the track, and that he knew this thing was going to become big. The police officers were going to come looking, and it's going to become big, and it's going to become national. So he knew that those things was going to happen. He made it to the gate, and he went inside this gate, and different stories he kept going on with this story about even how he went up on the hill and look over and end up painting rocks with red paint to alert the officers where to look. So those are the things that was told to me personally. I did have witness there when he was saying that. Those things, I did report those things to the Buckeye Police Department. They have not made it into their police report or haven't been investigated on that behalf. So of things that he said. But saying we do have that narrative that what happened to my son is based on one worker's testimony to what happened. Hey, this is what we're going by. So the only thing I knew about my story, my son's disappearance, was the narrative from the worker. I started my own searches because it was the only thing that was stopping me from seeing my son or getting him some help. Out there in the desert, I do know the dangers of the desert, being out by yourself. I did take the advice of the Buckeye Police Department and then go on my own. But I used to go out there on Sun Valley Parkway for a couple of days before I ended up getting my searches going. I just go out there almost every day, just hold my binoculars to look out in the desert. The only thing that was stopping me from being with my son or finding my son is that desert, and I was going to find a way to conquer that. And I really did that. I was able to put my own searches together with the volunteers that came out to help. Was out there searching that area extensively searching that area, looking for Daniel. And every week, doing it for every week, out there in the searches, even during the weekdays, out there in that search, out there in that hot sun, 118, 20-degree weather, looking for Daniel. Rescue mission that I put out for my son. And then almost 30 days later, I did get a call from the Buckeye Police Department that they found a rancher found my son's vehicle out there in the remote area of the desert in the 20-foot ravine. He did say they did not find Daniel. That was very devastating, getting those news from that department, because the first thing I was thinking that they was going to say something else that I didn't want to hear. Excuse that I didn't care about the truck. I wanted to see what happened with my son. They say they didn't find him, but they did find his truck. That was almost over 24 hours later when they alerted me that the truck was found. They did bring me into the police department and had explained to me out in the parking lot with 2 maps and 1 picture to what happened with my son. Just hearing the story is very devastating. At first, the only thing I can go back at the moment is what these officers was telling me. Hey, your son's clothing is on the ground here. He was pointing out the vehicle, how they believe it flipped and rolled and twisted and all kind of stuff and landed in that ravine. But he did say, the good news is we believe your son did not get hurt because there's no blood in the vehicle. And he was wearing the seatbelt because the way the seatbelt locked, they believe he was wearing the seatbelt. And then they also said that he had a brain injury, a head injury. And that's what probably caused him, once he got out the vehicle, kicked his way out the sunroof, kicked the glass out the sunroof. And once he got the vehicle, that's when he shredded his clothes, because he explained to me how a brain injury can make you hot, make you feel like you're hot, and you'll shred your clothes. So I did get those narratives from the police department at that moment. Just listening to that, and they did furnish me that 1 picture, and then at the same time took me to the location where the vehicle was stored. I thought they was going to take me to the scene where the vehicle was found, but they did not. They took me to a compound where they had it stored from away from that scene. So that was my first initial time to see that vehicle. It was very devastating seeing that vehicle for the first time. Mind you, Daniel and I and his sisters, we had plans for me to be there in July. Not under this circumstance, of course. We was planning that I was going to be there in July to see Dane's vehicle for the first time, to see his siblings. One was coming out of California, and we were definitely going to spend time together. So just having all that in my head and everything you can imagine how devastating that the whole thing is. Just seeing that vehicle like that the first time. I can tell you the day after he showed me that vehicle, they returned that vehicle to me because he told me that day when he showed me on the 20th, July 20th, hey, look, Mr. Robinson, you have to get this vehicle out here today. If you don't, we're going to have it towed and you got to pay towing fees. Of course, I asked him for a few more days because I'm not from Arizona and I need to find out a place, talk to his finance company or something, get in touch with whoever his finance company is and find out what they want to do with the vehicle. I was able to get a interview and not interview, but a meeting with the chief of police, Chief Hall and Sanders, the assistant chief Sanders, and also the whole entire staff, the detectives and everybody alike. And in that meeting, I did bring in one other observer and also a recording of that meeting. In that meeting, they did tell me they didn't do any forensics work on it. They confirmed that because I did look at the picture, and it was. I wish I had the picture behind me. You can see it on the top corner of the screen on the right there. But I did have a picture similar to that picture without Dane standing there, of course, but with the vehicle on the ground. And I did notice that they didn't have any forensics markers and things like that. So in that meeting, I did ask about that. Look, why haven't y'all done any? Basically, this is straight up why, because I knew there was no forensic work done because I didn't see anything that suggests that. And the reason why they said they didn't do it is because, like the sergeant said at the table, is because we didn't see with their eyes any blood in the vehicle. I said, how you know no blood in the vehicle? Because I know that they have ways to determine if people try to wipe up blood and things like that. That's the way that detectives find out blood in the vehicle. They didn't do all of that. They didn't do any fingerprinting or anything. I was uptight about it. I demanded the fingerprinting, which they promised that they would do. They ended up doing it the next day or the day after. And so they did do the fingerprinting that I requested. But at the same time in that meeting, they also furnished me the pictures, more pictures, because Chief Halls kept using the word pictures in the meeting. They only gave me one to go by, so they gave me that. And also I said I wanted a report. I wanted a copy of the report. They told me, hey, we got a partial report right now. The detectives are finishing up this report. We're going to give you the partial right now, and we will give you the full report once he's completed, which they end up doing. They end up giving me a full report. They end up telling me they had more leads to follow. They put that on their website. Well, not website, but on their Facebook page, that they had no more leads to follow. They even told the news crew here, the local news crew, some of the news crews furnished that for me. So, because I couldn't find it once I went to go look back on their Facebook posts to where they said that they deleted that. They since deleted that post, but of course, everything's not deleted. So I was able to get a copy of that, and also the fact that, like I said, these guys decided that this case is over. They didn't have a case. When I hired my investigator on, of course, they told him the same thing. They didn't have no investigation, and they didn't have a case. They turned everything over to him. They gave him the black box data information on that vehicle. That's when my investigator was able to read that data and come out with the truth. They didn't like what he read, and then they went to get their own investigator, of course, and the story from that point. But I'm here again. My name is Dave Robinson. I'll give you a little spill of my thoughts. I'm here to do a Q&A this evening on Primetime. I was asked by my team to do a Primetime. I normally do this in the morning, 6:30 in the morning. That's 9:30 on the East Coast in the morning. And, just try to get the Q&A done for people who want to ask questions, who have a lot of interest in my son's case. People do have their questions and they want to ask them. And so give me the opportunity to do so. And also at the same time, give me the opportunity to spread awareness about my son's case. I want to tell you, thank you again for coming in for this Q&A. and being a part of this family, this Q&A family, and being a part of Daniel's family, my extended family. I really love you all for coming in. I want to thank all, first of all, Breeze for coming in here. God bless you too. I want to thank Steph Happens. Step Happens. Thank you for being here, if I'm saying your name correctly. Also, don't forget, while I'm doing this, going down this comment session, I want you guys to hit that like, share, subscribe button. That would definitely help the algorithm. Thank you, Gwen, for being here. That'll help the algorithm to get this channel out farther. And I'm really grateful. You guys got me up to 1,000 subscribers, and that's really huge, and that's very big because it also get me farther out there from an understanding to be able to share my son's story. Thank you, Monica, for being here off of Facebook. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you, Gwen, for putting information up for me for the upcoming searches. And you got to please help find Daniel strolling on the bottom of the screen. That is very helpful. Also, thank you again, Monica, for being here. Deborah, thank you for being here this afternoon. I really appreciate it that you being here. Thank you, Clinton. Thank you for being here. You guys have any questions, please hit the question, put a big capital letter Q or bit word questioning followed by your question, and then I follow all the question marks. That would help out real quick. So thank you so much for that. Thank you again, Monica, for being here. Thank you, Rachel, for being here this afternoon. Thank you for being here this morning. Thank you also, Super Cooper, for being here. I really appreciate that. You knew, thank you so much. God bless you for being here and helping out as a moderator also in the background and all your hard work. I really appreciate that. And you guys, don't forget the tip line that's there. The tip line is always going to be pretty much strolling on the bottom there for you all to give those tips. If y'all have those tips, that's a paid tip line. I pay for that. That service is 24 hours, 7 days a week. You guys, if you have a tip, there's an operator that talk to you 24 hours, 7 days a week, live operator, and they will let you be anonymous if you like. Either way, you know what I'm saying? If you want to be anonymous, they would. If you don't want to talk to anybody, again, you can go down on the bottom screen there, and you can just text the word tip to that number, and the form will come up, and you still can remain anonymous or non-anonymous if you like. So, and all that's failed, if you just want to talk to me direct, of course, you can use the number that's strolling on the bottom. Also, that number is a cell phone. That's my public cell phone, meaning that it's for the public, for you guys to call me and talk to me about anything, whatever you want, leave a message. I am going through, a lot of people know, I tell you, I go through every message, and I do respond. I try to go through the voice messages too, and I do respond. It just take me a while, and I'll get to you. But you can use that number if you want to leave a tip. I can tell you that it's not anonymous unless you're using some type of burner phone. It's not an anonymous tip line. So that's the reason why you go here and use that anonymous tip line number that you see strolling on the bottom. So don't forget that. So please, if you have those tips, I really appreciate it. Thank you, Kathy, for being here this afternoon, this evening. Thank you for coming out this morning also. So I really appreciate you, showing your love continually, being here. Thank you, Brooklyn, Michelle, for being here again from this morning and still here again this evening. Thank you, Rachel Arnold. Thank you so much again for being here. Jazz, thank you for being here this evening on this Q&A. So if you guys have any questions, please use that. Like I said, the big question there, followed by your word question there, followed by your question that helped me find it once I'm coming down. I think I already said Brooklyn, Michelle, but if I haven't, thank you so much again. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you coming in. Thank you, Laugh, True Life. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here. And it is a sad occasion. I know how hard it is for his mother. His mother is very deeply hard for her. I'm sure his siblings and his, of course, our entire family is very hard for the situation. Every day, because I know what I'm feeling here. Every day I'm here, and every day is like just living it over and over again. Talking about it here on the Q&As, it's like living it over and over again. So yes, it is very hard, and I really thank you for having the empathy and really putting yourself in our shoes. And and I really thank you for being here and your support. Also, thank you, Darren, for being here. Yes, and a mile higher. I really appreciate that. Kendall Ray and her husband Josh for having me on the show. The Mile Higher, very good podcast. You guys can go check that out on the YouTube channel. And very good people. I mean, it's helped me out a lot. they donated, and they also brought along a lot of people. They have a big following, a big platform, and they utilize that platform to help other people like myself. And I'm really grateful for those two, the love that they have shown behind the scenes and above the scenes. So I'm really grateful for them both. Thank you also to Sophia for being here this evening, and also being in the morning, and all the work that you have done in the background. I really appreciate that. Positive Jackson. All right, that's the Aries in the house. I don't know what that disrespectful was, but I know you in that comment section, handling business. I know how you are, and thank you for being here from California, out there in California. Thank you so much for being here on Facebook. I really appreciate it. You been here for me. You know what I'm saying? We've been friends for a long, long time, and I'm really grateful to see you here this evening. Thank you, Mar, for being here. I really appreciate it. For coming out this afternoon and being out in the morning time on the Q&A. So thank you so much. I really appreciate that. If you guys have any question, again, put the word question there first, followed by your question, or put the capital letter Q there, or a big question mark somewhere, way that I can see your question as I'm coming down. Sometimes I go down really fast and I may miss. If I miss, even so, if I miss and you have that and I miss, please ask those questions again. But a lot of times when I see those question marks and things like that, that really help me go down really faster and see it. So thank you, Dee, for being here this evening on this. Also, I'm glad. Thank you, Gwen, for putting us up. Fasting and prayer. Fasting and prayer is a key to a lot of things. Prayer is a tool that God gave us to make intercessions for other people, and also to give the desires of our heart, to talk to God directly. And that's our channel. And also fasting is good for our soul and our body, give us strength. So the thing is, we're having the fasting and prayer for Daniel on the 20th. We did it before. Of course, the 23rd do not fall on a Wednesday. We tried to get it on Wednesday, so we chose the 20th. So the thing is, for you guys, because the 20th, I think the 23rd this time will fall on Saturday. And we at the time, we was thinking we may be doing a search. But now I did change those searches to be every other week. So it probably would have fell in the right place. But as it stands, that we had it marked for that Wednesday on April the 20th. And if you guys, if everybody can join in with us on that fasting and prayer, I don't have a timeline of how long you do your prayer. I'll leave that your fasting and prayer. I will leave that up to you in your judgment. And you know how long you can do it for. Everybody's situation is a lot different, but we will be doing a fasting and prayer, my team and myself. And we're asking you all to join in with us again in solidarity and with strength. And we all been doing that thing in the common goal. Ask for one thing. God, give me the answers to where my son is located, and bring all those things that's in the dark, to bring those things out to the light. Also, we're including people who's going through the same thing. There's many families that going through the exact same thing. This family is going through it even more. So, you got to think about them too. God is a big God. He can handle everything at one time. And we also extending our prayer and our fasting to those families also as well. So if you guys can join in on the Wednesday on 20th with us, I'd be so ever grateful to you, and I'm really grateful. So thank you all for coming out. Thank you. Good to see you, and hope to see you also Saturday, Mar. Thanks so much. Margarita, that's right. Okay, now I know who you are. When I see this Mar, now I know exactly who you are. Thank you for putting Margarita on the end. Of course, thank you, Margarita. You put a smile on my face. Now I know exactly who you are. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being here, and thank you for being out there in that searches. You've been there every week, so I'm really grateful for you coming out every time I have a desert search out there. You're out there to help. So thank you so much for your hard labor, your labor of love, and just really being there for me and my family. So I'm really grateful. Thank you, Tanya, for being here. Thank you for your prayers. Thank you for being here this evening. That's right. What's in the dark gonna come out. We really knowing that God would bring those things out into the light. So thank you so much for your prayers and having the same mind, like mine, what I have here, because I know it will. I'm searching. You guys know that I'm working really hard. I've been here since June 26th. It's nothing spectacular what I'm doing. I can't say that. Only thing that's spectacular is that I'm going to fight. You know what I'm saying? And the spectacular part is you guys are joining in with me, and that's the biggest part for me, and that's the most amazing part. You know what I'm saying? When you can reach out to people and people reach back, and I was able to get. It's hundreds of people been out there in that desert with me searches. Hundreds of people coming out and passing out these flyers. I get to see these flyers out, and people get these flyers out to the cities. I mean, it's hundreds, thousands of people, probably, of you guys. Look, I have 1,000 subscribers on this YouTube channel alone. So there's thousands of people who are out there really spreading Daniel's name, trying to find information about what happened to my son. Just really caring. You guys coming out, and that really means a lot. So I do have a question here. My first question here from Cassidy. Thank you, Cassidy, for being here this evening. Again, I'm Dave Robinson, the father of geologist Daniel Robinson. Those who just coming in, and I am doing this Q&A for my son. And the channel is designated to bring awareness about my son's case, and also, just try to find all the answers I can. Also, I did this Q&A, like I said, for people who have interest in my son's case and have questions. There's a lot of false information out there, a lot of speculations, all kinds of stuff going on. So you can hear some things from me. If those questions I don't need to answer, I would tell you that, because I am doing my own investigation. I do have a private investigator, and I always had a private investigator at the beginning. One, he's no longer work for me anymore. But even when he was here, I was doing my own investigation also along with him, or working with him also. And in that time, like I said, there are some questions I may not be able to answer, and I will let you know that. Do catch a question from Cassidy. I know you mentioned you haven't been able to do a lot with the current budget, but is there any ground sonar or digs or maybe cadaver dolls that you plan on setting up? I utilize cadaver dolls in my searches already. Of course, Buckeye brought this cadaver dog out. I meant to bring those pictures. I will show you all one day what they call a cadaver dog, but they did bring one out. Very cute little thing. But they did bring out a cadaver dog on their search. When I said their search, I did ask them to come out to one of my searches with a cadaver dog, because I needed one. And like I said, it's a very cute little animal, very fluffy, but he's definitely was out there, I'm out there at one of my searches. But the cadaver dolls that I was able to provide for my own searches, or does provided through volunteers and things like that, we did have several cadaver dolls out there in the past. I still utilize cadaver dolls, because there's some areas, especially these mines, that need to be checked and things like that. So we do definitely utilize that, as in for the ground sonar and things like that. That's also things I never heard of, the sonars and things like that. I'm sure that's something that's very heavily, like I said, expensive with the budget and things like that. I wouldn't know how much something like that costs, and the reasons why to use those right now. I do know I need specialized drones. The drones help out. They have technology now with these drones, with the infrared, and also the other capabilities that would can see ground disturbances. Somebody was to dig something up and put something in. These drones can determine that. So with these programs, you can see that ground shift, those ground changes and things like the temperature changes and all that kind of stuff that can suggest the ground disturbance. So I do need those type of things out there, and I'm still working on that. And you guys are amazing. Like I said, I give Kendall Ray and her team and my hire folks and everybody who came off of that. Every time I have people like them take their time out, whether it was in the past with CNN or Red Table Talk, or it was Dr. Oz, I just noticed whenever they had their platforms hit, those people do come out and help, and I get a little boost. And it's always at the right time. So you guys don't know, but my searches have been cut down to once every 2 weeks. And that was because of budgeting. And also I had to stop utilizing the safety things, and also equipment that I need out there, which was called the razors and things like that. I was renting out a lot of those to be able to conduct the searches where I needed to conduct them, and to get around that desert like I really need to get around. I still need to do all of that, but we cut down our searches. I cut them down to mostly line searches right now, and that's very important. We was able to, the places that we can get to right now, we do have line searches out there, and the line searches is deeply important out there. You all just don't know how really important that really is, but it's very important. Those are line searches where we found human remains and things like that. Because you imagine we're actually on the ground in the line, and we're looking down on the ground as we walk in, and we find things. I mean, we find a lot of animal bones. You find majority bones you're gonna find out there, of course, it's animal bones, because there's a desert. Animals eat animals, so they out there eating each other all night. Of course, we're gonna find animal bones, but we have found human remains also. The only way we found that, we didn't find those in helicopters We didn't find those, with drones. We found those by using foot searches. Whether they're hasty search, what we call it, the searching searching a certain grid to doing the line search. So that's very important. However, at the same time, I do need those equipments to be able to go out farther in areas that still haven't been searched. And we like to do recon. I like to do a recon. I go out in certain areas and do a recon before I ask volunteers to put them on the ground. There's a safety mechanism with, getting those razors and things like that we need out there. For instance, sometimes people come out and they really want to help, and they come out there and they get tired, or the case may be maybe too much heat for them or too cold, and I have to get them rides back to the command center. So it's a lot of little reasons why, and also logistic-wise, we have other areas that need to be searched. And I'll be talking about that this Friday. If you guys come back to the Q&A Friday morning, we have my logistics search coordinator on that Q&A, and we'll talk about those things a lot farther. But it's a lot of things that we do need out there, and that's to get logistic-wise to get people over to certain areas where we do need to do those line searches. So thank you for your question, Cassidy, and your first question on this evening's Q&A. I really appreciate you coming out again. Forever Curious, thank you again for being here. Thank you for sending your love back to you also. Thank you, Dee, for being here. Thank you for your prayers. I really appreciate that. Thank you, Carrie, for being here. Yes, thank you so much for your prayers continually. And I continually need those prayers, for strength and guidance. So I ask God to guide me to where I need to go, because I'm telling you, you guys, it's very difficult sometimes to keep things going. Just simply, mentally, keep things going. So God, it takes all God to help me do that, and I'm really grateful. Super Cooper, thank you for being here. Really grateful that you came out again. Tanya M, thank you for being here. But I do have a question from Kathy. Thank you, Kathy, for your question this evening. And I've known you for a long time, so thank you so much for coming in again this evening. The question is, was the Arizona State Land Development contacted to help? Well, I think you were talking about BLM. That's the Bureau of Land Management, if that's what you're talking about. The BLM, yes, I'm in contact with them now, and I'm waiting on them for answers for certain things containing my own investigation. And so I'm waiting on some answer back. I'm sure the task that I gave them is a really big one, and they're taking their time right now to answer that task properly. So I'm waiting on an answer back from them right now, and hopefully I will get information. But yes, I do keep in contact with them. Also, I have a team of mine in the background that actually reached out to them, and I was able to reach out also with a contact. So yes, we do have contact with them and working at as we speak. So yes, it's a lot of the land out there people don't know. It's federal lands out there. There's Bureau of Land Management where my son's vehicle was found. And also there's private lands out there. There's state lands out there. And also some of those lands falling out of Buckeye jurisdiction or Maricopa County jurisdiction. So it's kind of split up in that desert. It's all this is there, it belongs to this person, that type deal. So it's kind of scattered. Thank you all for coming out again this evening. My name is Dave Robinson, the father of geologist Daniel Robinson. I'm here to doing this Q&A and answer you guys. If you have any questions, please put the word question there first, or capital letter Q or big red question marks, so I can find your questions, and followed by your question. I will try to answer them as soon as possible. But there's multiple ways you can help. If you have to find ways you want to help out, there's multiple ways you can help in my efforts. First of all, if you have any tips, call that tip line. You can stay anonymous or non-anonymous. It's a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week tip line. Live operators is paid for. I pay for those, and they will take your tip. They keep you anonymous if you like. If you don't want to talk to anybody, you can do what's on the bottom of the screen there. You can you still text the word tip to that number, and you still can remain anonymous if you like. Also, if you want to talk to me direct, you want to give a comment, hey, Mr. Robinson, how you doing? Whatever call, you have suggestions, things like that, please use this number here on the bottom of the screen. And you can contact me. As a public cell phone of mine. That's why I put it out here in the public. You can reach me there, and I promise you, sometimes it takes me a while to get back, unless you just happen to call when I literally have the phone in my hand, or text me when I have the phone in my hand. Sometimes it takes me a minute to get down to your message, but I will. People will tell you I do respond, and I will respond. Also, please help find Daniel. PoliceHelpFindDaniel.com. Just like how Gwen Havilah, there's multiple ways you can help. You go to PoliceHelpFindDaniel.com. You can sign that petition. I'm really grateful. I looked at the petition last night and have grown since last night. I remember it was on 10 people who signed a petition. And you got to remember those numbers that you see on that petition is actual people. That's not a number, it's actually people, so it represents people. If you sign that petition, it represents you. You have a voice to everything I'm doing here and my goals. So you can read those updates and things like that. I just recently put an update on there the other night. You guys can listen to the update or read the update. And just like I said, to sign that petition, because I will be using that petition, especially when I finish with the forensics work and things like that, and approach the Attorney General's office and things like that. So really, please do that. I really appreciate it if you guys can. I will have a search this Saturday for the, it's going to be a desert search. So if you guys want to come out on Sun Valley Parkway, Cactus Road, you can go to PoliceHelpFindDaniel.com also to find out how you can join in with us on Saturday. It'll be at 6:45 for the safety brief and 7 o'clock roughly for the search itself. I need those numbers. If you came out to the searches in the past last summer and you're getting these messages, and yes, I'm still out there in the desert. Some people thought, believe it or not, there are some people thought that I found Daniel already, and then that I'm not out there in the desert anymore. Yes, I'm still out there. If you guys want to come back and help, I really would love to see your faces again. A lot of you are family, and you still remain family. And I haven't seen your face in a long time, and I would love to see you all again. I miss you, and I would love to see you again. And I thank you for the hard work you have done when you were out there. Like I often say, people give what they can. Some people, even if it's one day, you ought to be out there one day, you're still family. And if you gave what you can, and I'm really grateful for what you gave. Some are long haulers, being out there for a long time, out there with me in that desert out there, like Mr. Short and his wife, for instance, and some of the others, long haulers. You've been out there that long, they're long haulers, and being out there and they're giving all they can give. So I'm really grateful for them also. So thank you all who have came out to search and who continue to come out to searches. Really appreciate you. You can volunteer, like I said, in other ways. There's a tab there on the PoliceHelpFindDaniel.com website where you can volunteer in other ways. If you're not from Arizona, you're out there. I mean, no matter where you're at in this world, as long as you got a computer and online, that's the ways you can help. Just fill out that, good on that tab and fill out that form. And some people asking, like, hey, I did fill out the form. I haven't heard anything, but we're still working on it. It's taking the time. We're working on putting those things together. Y'all should know that I am putting a foundation together. So all of those things is coming in handy, so we can have those skill sets and things like that to work with. So thank you all for filling out the form and helping us put this thing together. It's a lot of work in the background, other than being out there in the desert, other than passing out these flyers, other than me being here doing this Q&A and things like that. So thank you guys for this bit of patience. If you guys have fill out this form and you want some kind of response, thank you for your patience. I really appreciate that you haven't taken your time out to even do so in the first place. Again, the signatures that I had from last night, I know it's probably changed now because I haven't been on there this evening. I just got back for some meetings, and I have one coming up in another 45 minutes. But we are approximately at 112,652 signatures. And those signatures, again, like I said, are not just signatures, they are people. So you can see that that's the signatures there, people, and you can also add your voice there too. And your voice can be even louder. If you have multiple email addresses, you can do it multiple times. So, utilize that if you can. Again, if you want to say something to the Buckeye Police Department, the number is strolling on the bottom of the screen. The person that you can contact there is Chief Hall. You can ask for him. I don't know, you're definitely going to be talking to him, but if you have your concerns and things like that, you can voice your concerns there with this number there. It's a public number, and you guys can utilize that to get in contact with that department. So here in Buckeye Police Department. Also, thank you for the support that you guys have shown, and please don't forget to share, like, and subscribe to this channel, because that helps with the algorithm and help the story of my son get out a lot farther. I got billboards, for instance, on the east side of Phoenix, all the way out to the west side towards Buckeye. Trying to bring awareness. I have the banners I usually keep behind me, banners out there. I have the door magnets for the cars. Just the certain little things to try to do everything I can to spread awareness for my son, and also conducting these searches and getting these flyers out. So there's a lot of other things that's happening to make sure I get awareness. So thank you so much for being here this evening for this Q&A. Thank you, DP, for being here and coming out again, because you've been out in the morning. I really appreciate you coming out in this evening time to join in the Q&A with me. And thank you also, Monica, again, for being here. Carrie, for being here. Thank you, Bia, being here. Bo, for being here. Thank you so much. Phone records have been checked. Yes, phone records have been checked. But you know what? The funny part about that, and if you guys have a question, please put that, because I almost missed that one. But with the phone records, yes, they have been checked, but they've been checked by me and my family. They haven't been checked by the Buckeye Police Department. They put that in a report, but they have yet to get a copy of that police report. I mean, that phone record. They didn't get it from me. They said they couldn't get it from the phone companies because they can't get a warrant. That's what they told me. So far as I know, they have never, ever even gotten any kind of paper from the phone company. So they definitely didn't get it from the family. So much as I don't care how much I heard in that report says, oh, we obtained phone records from the family. The only way they called us obtain. I'm gonna say this again. When it was literally in the medical room, when I look back at it, it was an actual interrogation room. They had my daughter and I in. We had our phone up and we were strolling down with the phone records. And he was across the table looking at it while I was strolling down. And then they put in a report, we obtained phone records from the family. And I'm like, that's strange. But they have never, ever gotten any paper from us or anything similar to that. So we do check those things, of course, in the past. It have been checked, I meant to say, in the past. And of course, there's going to be no phone records going on right now because Daniel's missing. But at the same time, yes, we have done it ourselves. That's part of my investigation. That's what real investigators do, is check those things. So thank you for your question. Thank you again, Monica, for being here. Thank you so much. Also, if you guys have any questions, please hit that bit. Use a big red question mark to ask your question, or you can use the word question first, or a big capital letter Q. Again, that really helps out if you all can do so. If you could do that, and please don't forget about the fast next week on Wednesday, April the 20th. We'll be doing that also. Thank you also, DP, for being here. Please share. Thank you. So I really appreciate you in the chat, putting out the information and helping as much as you can. Also, thank you, Sophia, for being here, part of the A-team, keeping everything straight here. I know you're probably looking at the time and probably say, hey, David, you need to get off pretty soon, because, yes, we are having a meeting coming up. But I'm really grateful that you're out here this evening and making sure that, you get those information out in the chat. So, and being a moderator in the chat, and also all the hard work you do in the background outside of your own business. And I'm really grateful for that. Thank you again. Thank you again, Positive Jackson. I was about to say your name, and I know you say, hey, don't say my name, but yes, thank you. I don't know the disrespect thing again. I know how you are. So thank you for being in the chat room for me and helping out. Thank you so much. Carrie, thank you for being here. I really appreciate that. I don't know what's going on in the chat, but I start seeing some things. But you guys, thank you for being here. If anything bad going in the chat, just keep that concentration on Daniel, because this is this channel is for Daniel, and I'm really grateful that you all are taking your time out of your schedule and out of your life to be here and to help me promote this channel. And some of y'all might hear the same things over and over again because you've been supporting me all this length of time. But this channel is to put awareness. If you think about it, it's awareness. So you're going to hear some of the same things because people come on, they have never heard about my son's case, and they want to ask questions, and they need to ask those questions. Thank you, Mallory, for being here. Robinson, you're Robinson also. Thank you so much for being here in the Q&A from Facebook. I really appreciate you being here. Thank you, Stephanie, for being here this evening. Hello to you, and thanks so much. I really appreciate you being here. So, like I said, a lot of new people are here. So some of these things may sound like it's over and over again, but that's the whole point of having this channel, is to be able to put those informations out there, the same informations that people haven't heard, to continue on. People get awareness about what's going on in my son's case, and I will be putting out things as I get certain things that I am able to talk about outside of the investigation. So thank you, Barry, for being here. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you being here and moderating also in the background and being part of the team. I know, like I said, I need to get off pretty soon because I know we have our meetings. But I thank you so much for
being here and helping out. So God bless you on that behalf. Thank you, D-Love, for being here. I really appreciate it. And thank you, Stephanie, for spreading. You say you're spreading information. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. You don't know how grateful and appreciative I am for that and how helpful that really is. So thank you. And also, I see you have a question. I will say this first, Cato. Thank you for being here also this evening on this Q&A. But I do have a question from you, Stephanie. I really appreciate that you have one. Again, just like Stephanie done, if you have a question, please put a big word question there or a big red question mark or something to kind of help me find your question as I'm coming down. The question is, I'm spreading information about your son as much as I can on the East Coast. What specifically can I do? Sorry to ask again. I didn't use the word question above. Oh, okay. Thank you for asking the question again. I'm sorry I missed your question the first time. But yeah, go to pleasehelpfinddaniel.com. One thing is word of mouth. One thing I want to say, word of mouth, what you're doing right now. Oh my God, that means a lot. That means a lot because word of mouth is bigger than anything. It's bigger than something you can put on the news channel. Much as Daniel's story been on these national news stages, a lot of people to this day haven't even heard of Daniel's story. So word of mouth is very important. Again, you go to pleasehelpfinddaniel.com. On pleasehelpfinddaniel.com, you can find other ways you can spread and share that. You can share that channel. That website. Also, the other ways you can help. There's other ways you can help. Tab there. Your skill sets, things you can do from your home. Also, there's a PDF there of the flyers. And I want to mention that. I'm glad that you mentioned it up. But these are the flyers. On that PDF on pleasehelpfinddaniel.com, you can learn how to make these. You can make these flyers yourself if you decide to do these flyers yourself. But I do ask you, and I said this before, if you can, try to make them the size of this postcard. I'm trying to get this thing aimed right. But make it the size of the postcard there. And the reason why is because look how small this is. Can you imagine having a big sheet of paper, a flyer the size of a sheet of paper, and you pass that and you give that to somebody? 9 times out of 10, they're not going to hold on to that. They're not going to hold on to that. They'll keep it at one time when you gave it to them, and then it end up in the trash. Like some of these do end up in trash, I'm sure, but they'll end up in the trash a lot faster because it's too big. It's too big. People's not going to carry a piece of paper around with them unless they're very, very dedicated. They're not going to carry a big piece of paper folded up and put it in their pocket and unfold it and give it to show somebody about Daniel. So these are very durable. And the reason why I made them certain way, I can actually send these flyers to you also, Stephanie, if you want me to send this to you, so you don't have to make them yourself. But what I'm saying is they're very durable at the same time, is it because, like I said, some people put them in their pocketbook, some put them in their pockets or wherever they want to put them, and they carry them. And also, it's a QR code. You see that QR code there. You walking down the street, or you say, "Hey, I got one of these cards." Hey, you tell them the story. Hey, here's the card. This is a flyer about his case, and they can use their phone and hit that QR code and spread it. You know what I'm saying? They'll take it off their phone and spread it around. So and the website, it go take them to pleasehelpfinddaniel.com, and they can find out ways they can help. So that's word of mouth, and it's very important for those flyers to be that way. And but either way, people can help. If they want to make them as a size of piece of paper, anything can help. And I'm really grateful. I was really pointing out those reasons why I would like to see them the size of a postcard. That's the same size of a postcard, and it's a lot easier for people to carry around. So thank you so much, Stephanie. Question. I really appreciate you asking your question multiple times. And I'm sorry that I missed it the first time. So thank you again for reaching out and being here this evening. Thank you, Teresa, for being here. Thank Gwen for the information up here on the chats. Thank you also, Denise, for being here. Has there been any sightings of Daniel? There have been in the past. When I first started this thing, you can imagine when the first Daniel's story first came out, and it went national. You can imagine how many tips and leads that myself and my investigator at the time were following. It was following a lot of leads. Even some that left out was out into California. So we had to move around and try to follow a lot of leads during the time. But now, lately, of course, I haven't been getting anything like that, leads and stuff like that, saying, hey, I have sighting of Daniel or anything like that. So we did have those things in the past. They didn't fan out. But of course, you have to check those things out anyway. So thank you, Denise, for being here this evening. And thank you for your questions. Thank you all for being here this evening on this Q&A. I'm trying to keep my eyes on the time because I know I'll end up getting past. I think this is a question. I'm not look back from start. Check to see what question. Okay. Thank you so much. Also, D, for being here. I really appreciate you being out here. Thank you for coming to the Q&A this evening. And let's see who else I have here. Anybody have any questions? I think I do see any question coming up here. And I'm grateful for all your questions. I actually be looking for these questions. So like I said, that helps me when you put the letter Q there, a capital letter Q, that helps as I'm coming down. DP has a question. Has anyone contacted EchoSearch? Does anyone know by chance? Yes, I heard about EchoSearch so much. Of course, I'm assuming they're a very big organization because I've been hearing that a whole lot, since I've been doing that. And I reached out to them from rather social media to, you name it. I reached out to this EchoSearch, and they did finally, this Dave Raiders, I believe his name was, he did reach back out to me eventually. And when I did talk to him, he did explain to me that EchoSearch didn't fit their I forgot the word they used, but it's like they didn't fit their criteria in the sense. So they didn't was they unable to help me in what I'm doing. So so definitely I did reach out to EchoSearch many times. They said it didn't fit their I'm trying to think of the word, but it's a word they actually use that Daniel's being missing didn't fit what they would do, what they're doing. And so, but they did, on their fairness, he did give me somebody, he referred me over to another nonprofit that he knew of, and who had drones, because I didn't start asking about drones. So he did refer me over to someone that had these specialized drones I'm looking for. Of course, everything I have, like you said, one person here said, and it's true, everything's done under a budget. I have to really budget everything. There's a lot trying to handle this type of, try to get everything functioning at one time, and have money here and there and just spread around like the need to be spread to do everything we're doing. And so the thing was, I couldn't get the drones that I like, but this company, this nonprofit did have those drones. I did reach out to them. Only thing, stipulation they had was that I had law enforcement invite them in. And even if they didn't invite them in, they can come anyway, but they'd like for law enforcement to invite them in. So I did have a setup where I was happening to be send a letter out to Chief Hall to ask again for the second time, have them bring out officers to help me out in one of my searches to do a search of a well, 2 wells that need to be searched. That's when I found out that week also that Buckeye did not do, it kind of back up that worker's story at the well, that Buckeye wasn't out there at that well because he said he didn't see him or heard. But at this lieutenant at the time, he did on the live, I happened to be on the live with Grizzly True Crime. He did admit that they didn't search that well. So the thing is, but before that, like I said, this guy couldn't come out that morning, even though he thought he would with those drones that I really need. When Buckeye came out that morning, he couldn't come out because some of the workers didn't show up or something out of it. He told me, and that's the last I heard of them. So again, that's the reason why I have a nonprofit coming up. Sometimes tell you, and there's nothing, no downer on anybody else or what their organizations, what they're doing, because we all on the same boat. We all out to help other people. That's my aim, is to help other families also. Because it's not just about my family; it's about everybody's family. And so I have nothing negative to say about any of these nonprofits. Only thing I have to say is my son's case didn't fit their criteria, for lack of words of the word they actually use, and so they was unable to come out and help. So definitely thank you for DP for that question. But yes, I did reach out to EchoSearch and some of the other ones. I reached out to a lot of nonprofits. So thank you for that question. Also, thank you, New, for being here and putting up that tip line again. It's strolling on the bottom of the screen. You guys have any knowledge of what happened with my son or an idea, please, not ideas. If you guys have your own opinions and things like that, please use the 803-200 number 7994 for that, and leave the tip line for actual information that you have that that will bring my son home, because it's very important to me and my family and his mother, that we bring him home. And everybody who's here, everybody who's supporting this whole cause, it's important to all of you that we get those kind of answers. So if you can, please reserve that tip line for those type of information. Because I get sometimes I get tips. I mean, oh my gosh, I even got a tip. Somebody say, hey, you need to go buy this product from the store or something like that. And, that's not what the tip line is for when they went to use their form. And, what it does is it put a lot for me to go down through and to try to weave those things out, which is credible stuff and which is not, that type of stuff. So if you can do that, please, I really appreciate it. All right. Thank you, T. Sophia, for your question. I do have a question from T. Sophia. What time was Daniel's job alerted he was missing? I assume that the coworker alerted Daniel's employer. Did Daniel company send out another employee once Daniel drove away from the site? You know what? It is so. That's what I'm saying. You guys got to think about it. It's conflicting stories. The stories I had gotten from the Buckeye Police Department is that the worker said that at one point he said he was when Daniel left. A little while after Daniel left, the job called. Daniel's job, his workers, his job called and inquired about him. That's what alerted him that Daniel was missing, basically, or wasn't coming back, or whatever the case may be. And then the second thing, another officer said, the guy said that he the one called the company and said, well, Daniel wasn't. So I don't know which way it really was. They have two conflicting stories about that, who said what and what happened. But I can tell you from that, no. One thing that's a problematic for me as a father, of course, my whole goal was to go find Daniel. My son missing. His police department said they weren't going to looking for him. I was out here on that road trying to get here as fast as I can to go find my son. However, like I said, hindsight, looking at things, one thing we did talk to that company for is that Daniel is their employee. They have not formed their own searches. They came out to help in my searches, of course. I told you that. But they didn't form their own searches. They didn't go out there in the desert. That company is a huge one. They have plenty revenue. They did not hire a helicopter or do any kind of search party with the workers or what the case may be. They have done none of that. They didn't even go look for Daniel. All thing they have done is Daniel's friend from the job came to my daughter's apartment and knocked on the door and asked for him. So, but as in them doing any kind of real searching for my son and things like that, no, they have not. That's one thing that was very disappointing. That's one thing I did point out to the owner of that company is that, you got an employee that's missing or any kind of thing like that. That's their responsibility as a company to see to that worker. He's on their time clock. He's on their time. So, those type things, is very important for that job to do so. So we did point out that. So no, so I think I get everything of your question. The time was his job. I don't know the time because, like I said, those are two conflicting reports. You know what I'm saying? One would say some reason the job called looking for Daniel, and the other one is that the worker said he alerted them. So it's 2 days. He told two different officers two different things. So it is a lot about that. So anyway, yes, that's the answer to that question. Two different conflicts. So I don't know the exact time. Don't forget to hit that like, share, subscribe to this channel if you guys can. Again, that'll help with the algorithm, again, to get the story out. Don't forget, as you see the tip line on the bottom, utilize that tip. You can remain anonymous. Thank you, Cassidy, for being here. And I do have a question from D Love. Thank you, D Love, for being here this evening with your question. The question is, Mr. Robinson, were there any shoe prints or personal effects that were not Daniel's by his vehicle? According to Buckeye Police Department, they had nothing. That's exactly what Detective Bifford told me the next day, over 24 hours after my son's vehicle was found. He alerted me that morning, and he explained to me that with all the cadaver dogs with an S they use and all the search dogs with an S that they use, they said they didn't see any no vehicle prints. I mean, matter of fact, the way they explained it, they sent it on to me in my head was that even the vehicle itself didn't have any tracks coming down in that ravine. They said they ain't found no vehicle tracks. They ain't found no footprints. They didn't find any shoe prints. Nothing leading away or to that well site and to that crash site. And what the excuses was, it was raining so heavy in this area that it washed all those things away. Again, they use those conveniently, right? One thing again, I wish I had this picture up. I made make sure I had this banner up here behind me next time I have a Q&A. Again, had the banner back up there again. What the thing is, if you remember how that vehicle sitting in the ravine, you can see the picture a little bit. That's where water flows. The ravine is the area where water flows. So if it's raining really heavy, that water will rush down that ravine really heavy and really fast. And what happens in the desert, the rain comes so fast, it starts carrying the tumbleweed type material, all that trash, you know what I'm saying, from the terrain, all the broken leaves or broken branches and things like that. It start flowing down with the water, start rolling down these ravines, right? And one thing that Rancher pointed out that do make sense. If it was raining so heavy like these guys keep claiming and stuff like that, which he said it wasn't, he lived out there, water would have stopped. It's almost like a dam. That vehicle would have became like a dam, and it would have slowed the water down, and all that debris would have been all against the top part of that vehicle, that part that's laying on the ground where the sunroof is. All that debris would have been stuck right there as the water's flowing up under it and going down that ravine to that river, right? That's the reason why he said he thought it happened so sooner, because it looked too clean. The vehicle's too clean. There was nothing like that on the vehicle that would suggest that. So you got to think about all of that. So anyway, for them to say that, they say, hey, I got to go by what the department told me. There was no footprints and things like that. So I do have to acknowledge that part. So thank you, D-Love, for that question. I really appreciate you being here and asking your questions. Okay, I got DP. Thank you, DP, for being here. And let's see. All right. Okay, thank you. This is a question. If you guys have a question, please put that word question there, followed by your question or the word question. That really helped. DP, I've been asking previously about the council meeting. Also, very curious how it went. It went well. They handled their council meeting very well. The meeting was very orderly. This has been there for a little while, and so I did get a chance to sit down there and observe. So thank you for that question. And the guys, again, if you had those questions, put that question mark there. And like T and Wildflyers there. Thank you for being here again. Big question mark. Good evening, Mr. Robinson. Have you contacted Internal Affairs regarding a lack of investigation by the Buckeye Police Department? Not yet. All those things are still coming. Everything's been done in a certain way. I have reasons why. Some people say, hey, you need to do this now. And, I get all of that. But some things have been doing this in a certain way. And I do have a team in the background. We're doing a lot of that. And also, like I say, it's coming to that too. We are definitely having some of those things eventually being looked into on that behalf. But for right now, we're thinking about those things also. Those are part of the things I'm planning on doing. So thank you, T and Wildflowers for being here again. So I really appreciate that. And I appreciate your question. Thank you for being here. Also, you guys, I'm about to get out of here again. I have like 20 more minutes before I have a meeting. But thank you, Dual I Am, for being here. We've been friends for a long time. Thank you for being here on the Q&A, and I'm really grateful that you came out to support. Yes, thank you for being here and joining in and help. So thank you so much. Much love to you. And like I said, good to see you out here in this Q&A. Also, you've had those questions. Did you get PayPal yet? Okay, you knew with the questions. And I'm not used to you doing that. I thought you was going telling people to put the question marks up. But thank you for being an administrator and helping out in that comment section. But yes, PayPal. No, I have not. Have not done a PayPal yet. I haven't had anybody to really ask me for PayPal. I do have that Cash App outside of the GoFundMe. And the reason why I did eventually put that Cash App up is because I had got an influx of people say, hey, Mr. Robinson, I don't want to give to GoFundMe because GoFundMe take out fees. So that was one of the reasons why I went ahead and done the Cash App. So the Cash App is out there. I do not have a PayPal. Like I said, I don't have enough people or anybody really saying, hey, Mr. Robinson, I'd rather give my donations through a PayPal. So if that happens, I'll start getting an influx of that. And maybe PayPal may come later on when it comes to, I don't know, foundation. I'm not sure how those work. I'm still working on building that foundation up. So it'd be different things there, I'm sure, to help out towards the foundation. So, but as in PayPal, no, I do not have that just yet. So thank you also, Dua, for putting that information up. Please help find Daniel.com. If you guys have any questions or want to know more about this case, please refer to please help find Daniel.com. You have a lot of information there for you. I do see, Dual, that you have a question there, but I want to put this out real quick before I go there. Thank you so much, Phil. Thank you so much for putting that about the city council meeting. You all know this Tuesday right here, I will be speaking on the city council in Buckeye. And like I said this morning, I went out to that. I did go out to the city council meeting on the last one, the first one, just observe. Sometimes you have to, your presence speak louder than words. So, they know I'm there. Chief Hall know I'm here. Chief Sanders know I'm here. I'm sure the mayor of Buckeye, if they're the mayor, they know I'm here. I know the city managers know I'm here. They know I've been on the ground all these months tirelessly with the volunteers. We're out there tirelessly working hard, searching for my son in their jurisdiction, on their ground. I'm just bringing it, the news crews coming in to doing interviews and all that. And, not one time have the mayor of Buckeye or the city manager reach out to me, not once. Can you imagine that? Some of these cases that y'all heard in the past that went national, right? And I keep throwing that up because there's always such an example of the disparities in the way they treat certain people. When this family had lost, God, sad part, you know who I'm talking about. And I hate to bring that back up again, but the tragedy of this man killing their daughter. And could you imagine the mayor, the city attorney, and everybody else, the managers, whatever, the whole city council, nobody reaching out to that family to say, hey, we know this happening in our town and our city, and don't care. Think about that now. Think about that. Think about when you found out evidence that would suggest that's foul play happened to your child and your loved one, and you turn that over to the people that's sworn to protect you, and you turn it over to them. When you do that, they shut their doors on you. They don't talk to you anymore. But they double down by hiring their own private investigator to double down on what they believe outside of the facts that you found, evidence, like physical evidence. Can you imagine that? So that's why I'm showing up. That's the reason I'm showing up, and that's the reason why I need you guys to show up too. That's the reason why I need people like yourself to have my back, because you know what? I have my team. Thanks, Sophia, for putting that up. I have my team there who has my back here in the background. I have my family who has my back. I have friends, and you guys, my family, my extended family, have my back. So and it's sad. It's sad. I keep thinking about it over and over again. The disrespect that I get from the department, the disrespect I get from the whole system out there in Buckeye, and it is sad. It's very sad. You're not going to sit there and pretend or pretend me away somehow that I'm not here. You know what I'm saying? And they know I'm here. They know I'm fighting very hard for my son. I don't get a lot of you guys give me a lot of support. Some people may feel like I'm doing this the wrong way. I could be honest with you guys. I am not professional. I'm just a father driven to find my son, and that's the only thing I am. I'm just a father trying to find my son. I'm not driven by some professional organization. I don't have no law enforcement on my back pocket. Nothing. I'm just a man out here trying to find my son and doing everything I can possibly to do so. And this city council, this their city. Buckeye is their city. It's one of the fastest growing cities in the country. And it's their city, and they have not acknowledged everything that I found, human remains out there in my searches in their area. They have not acknowledged the fact that my searches have brought some closure to some other, probably some Buckeyeians, or whatever you call them, in that area, brought some closure to their families. No thank you or no nothing. You know what I'm saying? No, hey, we thank you for the work you have done, or whatever the case may be. Whatever they want to say to me. We don't like what you're doing out here. We want you to go back home. Just say something to me. They haven't acknowledged me at all. So I'm going to make sure I'm there to let them know that I'm here. There'll be no doubt about it. You know that I'm here, and there's no doubt about it. So you guys can come out or watch it on the stream. You can go to Buckeye with City Council and find out the date and then where you can watch it online or listen to it. I believe you can online on the 19th. That's Tuesday. This Tuesday coming up. So again, there's a lot of stuff I do back there, and I forget. And I thank you, Sophia, for putting that up, because a lot of things do slip my mind, but a lot of things happen in the background. I'm doing every effort I can to find my son and get people to get all the help I can. And at this point, you guys know I'm not asking. If you guys go to Buckeye and say, hey, you can say what you want to say to them, ask them whatever you want to. What I'm telling you what I want. I don't want them handling my son's case any longer. I don't want them. I want them to take my son's case and give it to a department who I can trust. A department that's because I lost trust in that department a long time ago now. They proved to me that I can't trust them. And I would not honestly, I would have to fight the head of the department to say, hey, they want to try to help out now. 9 months later, I would not be able to be comfortable with that, with them handling anything in my son's case, because they have already damaged enough. I need somebody who's capable and whoever can come in and try to help in other ways. So I do need law enforcement, but I need somebody else to supervise that. So if you guys do call and things like that, I want the FBI into my son's case. My son's vehicle is on federal land and all that kind of stuff. So, so they need to be out there and help out and just help me out there. I don't want to hear what Buckeye said, the FBI saying, oh, you as a father doing such a great job. We're not coming out there to help you. Like I'm not law enforcement. Like I say, I'm a novice. I'm not doing such a great job that the FBI don't need to come in this case. I do not believe that one bit. Even though they see disrespectful things like that, they can say to me and think it's okay, but it's not okay. Thank you, Sophia. But I do have the question from Dua. I am. Thank you again. We've been friends for a long time, and I'm really grateful you out here. Daniel Robinson was last seen leaving the job site in Buckeye near Sun Valley Parkway, Ketch Road. I thought I saw a question from you, but I probably missed it. But I thought I saw a question. But thank you so much for putting that information up there. And I was just talking, and I think I somehow missed that question, but I thought I saw a question from you. I could have been wrong. But thank you again for being here. But I do have a question from Nancy. Thank you for being here this evening. Nancy, the question is, did your investigator check the Jeep for any mechanical problems like the brakes or battery issues? I do not know. I'm still waiting on a report from my former investigator. I'm still waiting on a report. I did get information from him, like data and things like that and pictures, but I'm waiting on his full report. So I haven't gotten that yet. But once I get those things, I would know if he did or not. So those are questions I cannot answer, Nancy, right now. If push comes to shove, I do have another investigator who can check those things. So I don't know if that's something he can do after the fact that my first investigator did or did not do. I'll find those things out sometimes. So I really don't know. But thank you so much for that question. Again, you guys have the tip line there. You can, if you have tips and things like that, please use that. You can remain anonymous. I think DP right here has a question. I think I have 10 minutes left, and I have to get off the Q&A. Mods, can please highlight question. Okay, thanks so much for putting that information out there. Again, okay, I think we coming down the end. I'm strolling out really fast here. If I miss any questions and things like that, I apologize. I do have to get off of here. I have 10 minutes. I have a meeting to attend, and I do have to get off here really soon. But if you guys have any questions, please bring that on Friday morning at 6:30 a.m. Here in Arizona, and it'll be 9:30 a.m. on the East Coast. I will have Mr. Short on, and we'll be talking about the searches for a little time, but then we'll go back to the Q&A. So please keep your questions if you have them, and I will. That helps out. If you can hold those questions and you have them, that will help me on this channel also, because I like to answer those questions as much as possible. The more questions, the better. And yes, and I think you said Dave Rader is great. Yes, he is. He's a really great person. I can tell by personality. If I don't know who Dave Rader, Dave Rader is the guy who's I think he's in charge of EquiSearch, but I'm not sure. But I know he's one of the big guys there. I don't know if he's the creator of EquiSearch, but yeah, he's a very good guy. He did, like I said, all fairness, they did refer me to a different organization, a nonprofit organization that could help what I'm doing out there in the desert. I wish I can remember the exact words that he used, but yes, my son's case did not fit what they were doing. So thank you again, Denise, for pointing out, because he is. I want to make sure that and get that clear, that he's a really good person. That the whole organization, I'm sure, is a very good organization. They're out there helping a lot of people. Are you able to? Okay, that's a question for you, So I think I'm down to the end of this Q&A, and I am getting off, and I'm getting all these indications from my team. Let your voice be heard. Thank you, Barry, for putting that out. Yes, thanks, Sophia, for putting those information out. I really thank you. Thank you all for being in here. Thank you, Sandy, for coming on. Sandy Floyd for coming in here on the Q&A. Let's see. Thank you for your prayers, Denise. Thank you I really appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you all for being here. I'm still looking at that time. I'm trying to squeeze in something else here. I'm coming down this timeline. Thank you, Tanya M, for being here. I really appreciate that. Thank you, DP. You have the question here. And that question is, what is the company Daniel worked for and the land developer's name again? The company he worked for is Matrix Southwest Groundwater, also called Matrix New World. The developer land, that's, you got Trillium out there. You got El Dorado's Holding. And then, like I said, that Smart City is coming out there. So, it's a lot of names, people buying up their land and things like that. So there's a lot of changes going on around in that area. So, there's a lot of names. There's a lot of names out there. But yes, Matrix New World, Matrix Southwest Groundwater is the name of the company that Daniel works for. So, DP, how soon from you contacting the police department from home in person did PD magically finally find Daniel's vehicle? Well, I'm thanking you. From my home. I reported Daniel missing on June 23rd, the day he went missing, and from that time the vehicle was found on July the 19th, almost 30 days later. So yeah, that's a bit time difference. If you go by the Buckeyes Police Department theory, that means Daniel was riding around that desert without filling up for almost 30 days before he wrecked his vehicle, because that rancher, we cannot forget that, even though it's not a report. So you guys cannot forget the rancher who actually found it. I don't know why they didn't put that in the report, but the rancher said he was there 2 to 3 days prior to him finding that vehicle in that same spot. He was there chasing his cattle, and the vehicle wasn't there 2 to 3 days prior to the 19th of July. So that suggests the vehicle was planted there or magically made it there after the fact, after that day he was there last. So they didn't put that report, but yes, it was found almost 30 days later. Question, who reported Daniel was missing? It was me. Was his personal friends or his friends from work? No, it was me. I the one reported that Daniel was missing. They came to me, and my daughter called me, of course, and told me that the co-workers were looking for him. So they didn't say he was missing. They were just looking for him. And so that's the deal. Gave us the first indication. Question, what kind of weird question? But I mean, kind of a weird question, but does Daniel use a Gmail email address? I only ask because you can look up any of the location he has been through Google Maps. Yes, I have been doing that. And some of that is part of the investigation of things that, we get information from. So yes, I really appreciate that information. Yeah, Google is very helpful too in determining some things that happened in this case. So thank you so much for that. Again, if I missed your question today, I apologize. There's so many probably still here, and I'm missing them. I'm strolling down this comment session. I think I'm at the end. So thank you so much, you all, again, for sharing this YouTube channel, for liking, subscribing, and sharing this YouTube channel, getting the channel out here. It has grown to 1,000 subscribers, and I'm really grateful for you all. I thank you for all your love, support, and just taking your time out just to listen to be here. I know some things, like I said, is over and over and over again, but it's for those people who just coming in and subscribing to this channel and learning more about my son's story. I will be talking about something we have on Friday, ever short. We'll be talking about the searches, and also I will probably be having a video again of the way that the wells are searched. When we do have a search the well, when I did have those well search, I will put that out again. Those wells again, probably put that video out again on the Q&A. And also my goal is right now is to try to reach out to some of these families who want to come on and also be a part of this Q&A. So I'm in the background working that out. You guys can come here and continue on supporting this Q&A. That would be very, very much helpful because, like I said, yes, a lot of other families are suffering too, and they want to be heard also. So hopefully I can get some of these families who really want to come on and be on this Q&A. So thank you all. God bless you. I love you, and I hope I see you again on this Friday at 6:30 a.m. on Mountain Time. God bless you. You have yourself a good night.